Bonjour everybody, welcome my French life family, welcome to the Jardin des Plantes. I am somewhere very special at the moment. This is called the Gloriette du Buffon. It is something I only discovered very recently, so I'm very excited about it. Let me show you the view that I can see. So here we have the Mosquée de Paris. This gives you a panoramic view of trees, but also the Jardin des Plantes. And we'll get a better view of the Gloriette when I actually come down from it. Okay. So I think that's you, Judy. Let's walk down. It's a busy day today. There are lots of people and it's wet. So we have to be careful we don't slip. So, like I said, this is La Gloriette du Buffon. Okay, this was made in 1787. It's actually one of the oldest metal structures in the world, believe it or not. Okay, we have the sun that way, but we can kind of see it in silhouette at least. And the Gloriette du Buffon is on the top of the highest point in the Jardin des Plantes. And here we are heading down the hill. Bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour tout le monde. Okay, so this is a little bit of a better view. So this is the highest point in the Jardin des Plantes. It's on a little hill and it has what we call the labyrinthe, which goes down. Okay, so while we're spiraling down, I'll tell you a bit about, I told you about the Gloriette already. It's the oldest metal structure in one of the oldest metal structures in the world. When it was formed with an alchemist kind of leanings in mind. And it was very interesting to discover that a lot of metals interacted in very strange ways, and that was the beginning of a lot of research that goes into things like alloys and such. So this construction of this thing was actually very important scientifically speaking, but also aesthetically. Hi Judy, thank you for joining us. I can see Anne is here today. Hello Anne, how are you? So, like I said, I wasn't until the very end of last year, during confinement in fact, that I discovered this place, and the Jardin des Plantes is somewhat of a second home to me. I'm here all the time, so to discover it after so many years of coming here was a bit of a shock, to be honest. Okay, the Jardin des Plantes is very special to me because I'm a bit of a science buff and a history buff, and this is an awesome amalgamation of those two things. This here is the grave. This is the only grave site on the Jardin des Plantes. I didn't even know there was a grave site, but here we go. This belongs to Monsieur d'Aubenton. Hi Anne, lovely to see you. He was the first director of the Museum of Natural History. Okay, so the Jardin des Plantes is what started off in 1625, which was a really long time ago. It started off as the King's medicinal garden, and obviously we had a lot of botanists and doctors who were involved in making potions and stuff, and they added to their collections on a constant basis. And this also coincided with the time when you had a lot of colonial exploration going on, so they were bringing back a lot of samples from overseas, and they would bring back samples and plant them here. One such example is this tree here. This is the oldest tree in the Jardin des Plantes. It's not the oldest tree in Paris. I already showed you that. Hi Sally, nice to see you. So we're at the Jardin des Plantes, and at the moment here we're looking at the oldest tree at the Jardin des Plantes. It was planted in 1702, which is a really long time ago. Not as long as the oldest tree in Paris, which was 1602, but it's still really long. Okay, which way are we going? The quickest way down? This way down? Okay. So obviously this part is just a lot of greenery, but I want to tell you about all of this greenery. A lot of these plants, much like the one I just showed you, are samples that they brought back a long time ago from various countries. And this is the living aspect of the Jardin des Plantes. So a lot of these are just like any other museum specimens. You would go to a museum, look at a specimen and treat it with reverence, and these trees are the same. Hi Jen, how are you today, sweetheart? Lovely for you to join us. So, beautiful gardens in the 5th arrondissement in Paris. Okay, so as I said, they started in the mid-1600s, these gardens, and they acquired so many other specimens from overseas and got bigger and bigger. It eventually evolved into the King's Garden and the Cabinet of Curiosité, because they were also starting to bring back animals from other parts of the world. And after a lot of collecting and politics and everything, we eventually got to... We're above the fountain. There's a fountain. You can only see the back of it, the Fontaine des Lions. Okay. Folding washing. Well, you wouldn't be folding washing here because it's raining. So the Jardin at this point started to evolve, and it was becoming very much a scientific hub and a collection area of specimens from all over the world. And in the very late 1700s, during the French Revolution in fact, it was finally established as the Museum of Natural History. So that's more of a what would you call it, an establishment rather than a place as such, although the Jardin des Plantes is the primary location. Right, I have to be very careful because these paths are extremely slippery. I just saw somebody slip over, in fact, up at the Gloriette. So weather-wise, it's rainy here. It's not so cold, but it's a little bit slippery. It's also not quite a public holiday, but it's what we call here in Paris. Terry will know this. Hi, Terry. It's called Le Pont. So what happens in France, if you have a public holiday on a Thursday, a lot of French institutions just say, meh, let's just make Friday a public holiday too. But we call it Le Pont, which means a bridge, and that gives us a long weekend. So yesterday was Ascension, so all the churches were very busy, and today is just an additional free day off. Faire le pont, oui, on fait le pont. Unfortunately, yes, so my girls elles font le pont. So all the schools are shut, which is why you've got kids running around here. Unfortunately, my husband doesn't get to have the day off, so he's working, although he's accompanying us at the moment, so he's here now. Okay, so this is a very historic building here. This is where the director or the president of the Museum of Natural History, that's where his offices are here. Okay. So lots and lots of statues here, lots of trees. The statues obviously, some are artistic, like this beautiful one over here of the archer. We'll go past it in a sec. Judy says bonjour Thomas. He says bonjour. Okay, so you've got a lot of the presidents or past presidents and directors of the museum who are also here, in statue form at least. Okay, one of the entranceways. Okay, what we have here is the 'Amphitheatre. So this was built by Wernicke. So this is 'Amphitheatre Wernicke, which is an historic monument. It was specifically built for performing autopsies. Well, they don't call them autopsies when they're for animals, but basically it was done when they started studying zoology here. So it's some of the first zoological examinations occurred in this building, and these are for the entire world. So I find that really fascinating. It's quite an amazing historical building. In a modern sense, however, we have a bit of an exhibition going on here. What's the name of this exhibition? Fragicolas. So fragile, large beasts, basically. So there's 5 statues here, and they are representing endangered species. So they've just been here for 3 weeks now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is until the end of August.
Made by Michel Basson.
Okay. So here's the Amphitheatre, the entrance of it. Same as Champs-Élysées. To what are you referring? Judy? Although that's not right. Okay. Okay. So, as I said, I'm a bit of a science nut. I was a science teacher in my past life. So, not only does this thing enthrall me, because I love doing dissections and things like that. Okay, I'm a bit strange. Over here we have what is currently the restaurant. It's called, at the moment, La Menagerie, I think. Okay, and Judy, you sent me an article about a top chef who is doing a restaurant. Well, basically, he's going to be setting up residence in here. Okay, it's shut at the moment, obviously, because our... Okay. Yeah, so the restaurant is shut at the moment, but it will be open this week. Okay, so back to my science fetish. You have a lot of scientists who made amazing discoveries in this place, apart from all the biological, botanic, zoological things. In here... Okay, my daughter's reading it for you. Well, carry on. Edmond Becquerel, he discovered the photovoltaic effect. So if you know anything about science, then you'll know that that's a pretty special thing. Okay, the door's pretty cool too. So that was discovered here. So the Becquerel family, they were big. They've won lots of awards and are very important scientifically. And around the corner in this laboratoire here, this is the Maison Cuvier. That is a big deal, isn't it, Judy? In this laboratory, Henri Becquerel discovered radioactivity. This is on the 1st of March 1896. So he actually collaborated a lot with the Curies. Now, if we walked out that little gateway by the restaurant there, right across the road there is the the Pierre and Marie Curie University. So this is all, it is a big deal. It's a huge deal. And a lot of, like I said, monumentous scientific discoveries happened right here. So I find that really fascinating. Okay, so we're heading over here now. This is probably an area more familiar with a lot of people. We're heading to the back entrance of the Menagerie. Now, the Menagerie is very special in that it's actually the 2nd oldest zoo in the world, and obviously it's still functioning. This part here, for those of you who have been here, normally, fortunately, we have somebody who's doing a bit of gardening maintenance here. But in here we have the wallabies, which unfortunately, oh there we go, we can see a few of them. I see, they've been fenced off while the gardening's happening. So we'll just zoom in quickly on them. Normally they're right up here by the gates, the fences, but they've been put away for now. Okay, and that's over here the back entrance to the Menagerie. So the Menagerie was established in 1793, 94. So that makes it the second oldest in the world. The oldest is in Vienna. We've got a bit of a seating area and a park there for the kids, and like I said, that's the parts that a lot of people are really familiar with. Okay, so going back to the plants, collection of plants we have here at the Jardin Alpin. So this is part of the actual gardens itself. So a lot of historic specimens are still here. My favourite specimen, which I've talked about a few times, this green vine here, which you can see, it's actually really big. This is the Alpine Garden, so a lot of plants from alpine places. So you can see this great big huge vine. You can see the people there to see it. This is actually a Chinese gooseberry tree, which we now know as kiwi fruit. But this is an original species, so this was before it was developed into the kiwi fruit we know today. So this one was planted in 1907. So it's a pretty old plant, and it fruits at Christmas time, which is perfect for making pavlovas with original kiwi fruit on top. Right, we can go in it later. Oh, also in this garden is one of the other oldest trees in this park, which is a pistachier, or a pistache tree.
The one who's been used to discover that
There's a couple of trees at mine.
Yes. Oh, yes, the pistachio tree was used in learning about species dimorphication. So basically, the differences between the male and female aspects of a tree was all discovered by this pistachio tree. So it's pretty special. Okay, over here we have one of the serres. Okay, serres or greenhouses. These are also historic monuments in themselves. Inside, they're absolutely magnificent. They're divided into areas of specific habitats. Oh, we have some beautiful flowers going on still over here. Okay, so these gardens are all divided into different species types and habitat types and everything. So, like I said, it's a living museum. It's a really important aspect of the Jardin des Plantes. The medicinal gardens, which were the original purpose of them, is right down to our left, which we will go to very short. Well, we won't go to it, but I will show it to you. Let's have a look at the serres. There's several of them. They're beautiful. In the light, they actually shine purple. Yes, it's a living museum. There are also a lot of non-living specimens in this place. So that's also an important aspect of it too, which I'll talk about in a second. I could talk for hours on this, but obviously I can't. And we will finish here when I'll give you a general overview of the garden, which everyone's familiar with. Okay, so we've got a lot of spring flowers out at the moment. The cherry trees have all finished. We do have a lot of other flowers coming out. Okay, so we're in the middle of now the formal French style gardens. Okay, is that a mimosa? Look at that, isn't it beautiful? Okay, so right in the middle here. Okay, so we have the serre over here. Okay, this building here is the Grande Galerie d'Evolution. Okay, it's an amazing building in itself. I'll post some photos of the inside of it. They'll be old photos, but they are my photos, so they won't be just stock footage. Over this side here, behind the trees, we have a rose garden. We also have the mineralogy and geology department. We have the botany. This is over here, this building over here. Botany? Yeah. Okay. And right down the very end, next to the botany department. The botany department houses the largest herbier in Europe and possibly the world. So herbier is, you know, when you get a book and you get a leaf and you flatten it and dry it out, and then you mark it when you dated it, what it is, what species it is. Well, they have the largest collection of plant specimens in Europe. Okay, and right down the end of this alley to the right, the largest building down there, we can see it from this angle, is the Paleontology and Comparative Anatomy Museum. So basically the dinosaurs are in there. It's really fascinating, and it's always good for the dinosaur buffs. Okay, so I just want to show you one last thing. So we're heading back towards this part here. Here's some of the roses in the rose garden. If you're into roses, they have a beautiful collection here. It's not a huge collection, but it is a beautiful one. They also have some beautiful statues. So like I said, this is the mineralogy, geology and botany area here. So the Museum of Natural History. Do the girls love the dinosaur museum? Oh, yes they do. I don't like taking them in there though, because there are so many specimens and it's so old, and you know what small kids are like, they're very boisterous. So it really worries me. I always get nervous in there with them. The Grand Gallery is a little more spacious and a little more child friendly in my opinion. So the one we're looking at now, which is the big one, it's absolutely beautiful inside. So I was talking about the herbier just before. So specimen of dried preserved plants and also seeds, and they recycle all their seeds and develop all their seeds and everything for replanting in the garden. So a lot of the new trees and plants that you see are actually stock from old seeds that have been grown from the original plants that were first brought here. Okay, the last awesome thing that I want to show you, you can actually see, but under this very empty space here, you think it might be a bit pointless, but in fact it is really important, because underneath this area is about 3 or 4 stories down underground of the zootech. And the zootech is the most amazing part of the Jardin des Plantes in my opinion. So basically it is just filled with specimens of every single animal you could ever imagine. So it's not available to the public unfortunately, but I've been in there and it is amazing. I will post some photos of it because it's just incredible. So this building here is amazing, and I don't know if you've been inside, Judy, but inside is just absolutely incredible. So yeah, I'm in love with this place, and I haven't even begun to tell you everything about it, but I hope I could just give you a tiny little overview of it and how beautiful it is and how important it is. It's a really, really important part scientifically, historically, for Paris and for France and for the world too, because like I said, a lot of amazing scientific discoveries and specimens and everything all happened here. So it's pretty cool. You've never been inside, thank you so much. Honestly, you have to look. I do have some videos, they're old videos, but I will post those as well just to show you what it's like inside. Okay, anyway, I've been 20 minutes. So yeah, there's Monsieur Buffon, that's a statue of him there. He was one of the main players in the Museum of Natural History. Okay, so the Serre over there. Okay, so we're right next to the Gare d'Austerlitz, which is over in that direction. If you come out of the Gare d'Austerlitz, you will come right in next to the Paleontology Museum. It is much larger than I thought. Thank you for the tour. You're welcome, Sally. It's really, really fascinating. Yeah, it's so much bigger than what people think it is, and like I said, the historical and scientific significance is, I think, underplayed a lot, so that's why I really wanted to come here and tell you all about it. And it's just so beautiful as well, and it's really empty at the moment, but like I said, it's a day off at the moment. I'm sure it's going to get a lot busier later on. Okay. So yeah, paleontology, zoology, etc. Yes, it's all marked along the building here. Thank you. I know I've forgotten a lot of things. I've got a crazy child dancing around. Yeah, I know I've missed out on a lot of things that I wanted to talk about, but I just wanted to show you that, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that when you do get to come back to Paris that you will come and visit and appreciate it for not just the flowers and the trees and that, but just how amazing it is, and some of the little hidden secrets and everything about it, and just maybe look at it with a different perspective that you might have in the past. So thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, post those. Merci mille fois. You're welcome. And yeah, and I will endeavour to answer any questions. I will post extra photos and post old photos and videos, because obviously we can't go in these places at the moment.
Bye-bye.
So we will, I'll let you know about those. Okay? Thanks a lot. We will see you again next Wednesday.
Yeah,
I will see you having a nice little drink to celebrate the reopening of the terrace, but also bear in mind the museums will be opening, so all this will be open, including the Menagerie. Yes. Oh, and there are lots and lots of amazing exhibitions that run here. There's currently the Pierre Précieuse exhibition, which I saw prior to the lockdown, which takes place in this building behind me. And it's basically a whole lot of jewellery, and it just blows your mind. I have photos of that too. So yeah. Okay, so thanks again everybody. It's great to see you, and for those people who will join us later, thanks for coming. See you later. Bye bye.